With freelance work slowing down, some of my friends want to expand their businesses into new areas. If we were friends, which we are, and we sat down over a cup of coffee and you asked me how to make a living filming and shooting weddings, this is what I would tell you. I am a videographer and designer from Cleveland, Ohio, and I've shot and filmed a few weddings in my day. First off, I want to tell you that weddings are not an easy overnight success type of work. It is the complete opposite. It's very time consuming and an exhausting way to make money, but after you get the rhythm of shooting down and telling each couple's story will become easier over time. I will assume you have some kind of knowledge of shooting weddings and how they work. This isn't going to be a step-by-step guide of shooting weddings. If you don't know how to do that though, I have a wedding shoot planned for later this year where they have agreed that I can film a behind the scenes step-by-step of their whole wedding day. I'll take you guys along for that shoot, and then I'll make another video going over the edit, so be sure to subscribe to be notified when that video does come out. First, we'll get into the numbers, and then I'll give you some notes that I learned over the years of shooting and filming weddings. These numbers will skew based on your experience and skill level, where you live, your equipment, how many shooters you have, and so many other things. But these are some general numbers that you want to be able to hit if you want to make an average salary in the USA. Then just for fun, we'll go into making $100,000 per year. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average salary in the US is about $58,000. This seems high for beginners, but it also seems a little low for people in big cities like New York or LA. You can adjust these numbers, but this is what we're going with for now. If you have a camera and you know how to use it, but you've never filmed weddings before, it would be very beneficial to be someone's second shooter for a discounted rate or even for free. But if that's not an option, I would find a family member or a friend that's getting married but doesn't have the budget for a wedding video and shoot it for free. You'll learn more from doing this than any video you could possibly watch, and since you're not charging anything, this is a great way to learn the ins and outs of weddings in general, especially if you're not familiar with the process of the day itself. The best part about this technique, and this is one of the biggest stressors that keep people from shooting weddings that I know of, is if you mess up a part of the video, it's not that big of a deal. The couple probably won't notice since they aren't paying for the video. It's just a bonus for them. Assuming you can work a camera and you can successfully shoot an entire wedding, a solid starting point for a beginner to charge for a wedding is around $1,000 to $2,000. If you were to charge an average of $1,500 and wanted to make an average American salary, you would have to shoot 38.6 weddings a year, almost a wedding a week, to make that average US salary. Moving up, if you're an intermediate wedding shooter, charging between $1,500 and $4,000, averaging about $2,250 per wedding, you would have to shoot 26 weddings per year, or about one every other week to make an average US salary. When you get more experience and you get into the higher end weddings, you can start charging anywhere between $4,000 and $7,000 in my area. Let's say you make an average about $5,500 per wedding. To make an average US salary, you would need to shoot 10.5 weddings per year. Just for fun, if you're an all-star legend and you can charge $5,000 to $10,000 and you average $7,000 per wedding, you'd only need to shoot 8 weddings per year. Now let's have some fun and go over making $100K per year. Our beginner would need to shoot 66.6 weddings per year to reach that $100,000 mark. Our intermediate shooter would need to shoot about 44.4 weddings per year to make $100,000. Our high-end shooter would need 19 weddings per year, and the legend would need just over 14 weddings to make $100,000. Some caveats about making money and working with weddings. Obviously, this is going to vary based on your experience, your amount of shooters, your travel and expenses. But a great part about filming weddings is that once you have the portfolio and you level up your skills, you can charge more and you don't have to shoot as many weddings to make a livable wage. There is a lot of upfront work and learning, but it pays off in the later years. You're also likely to dance around price brackets a little bit, always getting high end or even average of the legend or the upper tier based on your area and how much work you have going on just may not be feasible. So hearing those numbers could kind of distort your reality of things. Like I said, you are likely to dance around those price brackets based on what your couples want. However, if you are a high-end shooter and you have too much work going on to take on a whole nother wedding, but you have some friends in the industry that you can second shoot for, you can actually take on less weddings overall and then just second shoot for someone else because The great thing about being a second shooter is typically they're only there for the day of. They're not there for the pre-production or the editing, so you can kind of balance your workload depending on what you have going on. I want to be fully transparent here. The early days of filming wedding is pretty overwhelming and a complete grind. At least it was for me. You'll likely need to purchase some gear when you're first starting out. The day of is overwhelming to say the least. And you're going to be sacrificing a lot of nights and weekends to shoot 8 to 12 hours a day. Some rapid fire notes about things I learned shooting weddings over the years. Pre-production is one of the most essential parts of shooting weddings. Do not walk into a wedding day of without knowing the schedule. What makes that specific wedding special to the couple, so you'll know what to highlight, what the couple wants to emphasize, or not even show at all. The final product will be much more meaningful to the couple. One superpower of knowing the schedule is that you can keep everything on time. Vocalizing how much time you have left on the current shoot, like the first look, for example, always seems to go over for some reason because they're seeing each other for the first time. It's very emotional. But knowing the schedule and how much time they have allotted for the first look will help you keep everything on time and on schedule for the day. Knowing how long it takes to travel to the next location, kind of wearing the wedding planner's hat a little bit without stepping on their toes, of course, will keep your shoot moving along as intended and everything on time. This is something that higher end shooters do to help them command more of a premium price as well. Shooting weddings becomes much more enjoyable when you have a mental model of what your video is already going to look like before you start shooting anything. When you're running around just trying to find something and then filming everything and then trying to find the story in the edit, it will make your life much more difficult and your video is in trouble. Capture the right meaningful things and then catch random things as they're happening. The video will feel tailor-made to them because it was. Editing will also be faster and easier since you have the video outlined in your head already. It's less like editing and more like just assembling things and trying to get what is in your head onto the timeline, and the final edit of the video will look better and you will save multiple hours per video. This is a mistake that I made my first couple of weddings, and now I go in and already have a mental model of what's going to happen and what the video will already look like. Despite saying that gear doesn't matter, in the wedding world, it totally does. Photo is pretty simple gear-wise, but video requires a ton of gear that you know how to use like the back of your hand. You'll need multiple cameras, lenses, audio recorders, wireless labs, tripods, gimbals, monopods, lights, stands, batteries, and so much more gear. If you're interested in a wedding gear video, let me know and I can dive deeper into that because that's kind of a rabbit hole. Another quick oversimplification between higher end and more budget shoots. When you step up to higher end shoots, you'll have to hire a second shooter, which will eat into your profits. But raising your price may bump you out of your couple's price bracket. Second and third shooters are a must on higher end shoots, but for smaller end shoots, you can get away with flying your main camera on a gimbal and then having your second or third cameras on a tripod. A few quick notes on handling money from weddings. Sometimes people don't pay for a long time. You can get booked in 1 year and then 2 or 3 years later, you can actually be doing the wedding. So there's a lot of time between there and scheduling is very important. Having payment terms in your contract will protect everyone here because some clients want to pay all up front while others delay payment for weeks or even months. Transparency with your services and pricing is important so everyone is on the same page and they know exactly what they're getting and how much they're paying for it. Another thing to consider is paying taxes on this money. You should save about 30%-ish. Look this up for your specific region. As a disclaimer, this is not financial advice, but save money for your taxes or you're gonna have a bad time. This next tip may be more obvious to experienced shooters, but this is the most common beginner thing everyone overlooks at first. But this is the most important of the notes so far. Make sure you have a contract to protect both you and your couples. They need to know what happens if you flake out on them, or you need to know what happens if they flake out on you. You need to have payment terms, dates, times, what happens if things change on their end or your end. Unforeseen things happen, and you both need to be protected. Having a contract that lays all of those details out that all parties sign will make your life much easier. Hopefully you never have to refer back to that and enforce any of that. However, if you do, having everything in black and white laid out is going to be a lifesaver. Another tough part about filming weddings is that you have to find the clients. This is true with any creative work, but wedding competition is very fierce if the couple has a budget. Word of mouth and referrals are king and queen of finding the best clients, in my opinion. Having an active Instagram and website will allow you to show your work, but also have a place that couples can schedule a meeting. Spend lots of time getting these two things right, and then go on any other platforms that engaged couples in your area are likely on, like The Knot or local wedding Facebook groups. If you're struggling to find clients, make sure you have a portfolio. Or if you don't have a portfolio, you can offer free or discounted shoots like engagement shoots. And this is a great way to build your portfolio as well as network with other people in your area. Networking with other photographers and wedding coordinators and venues and industry professionals can also get you some clients, but you'll also need a very good relationship to secure a referral from one of these people. Then you'll also have to have a solid website and social media presence for the couples to actually look at your stuff, be confident in what you can do, and then reach out and book a meeting with you. If you're still not getting clients, but you feel like you're doing good work, ask yourself honestly, what makes you different from the other shooters in your area? Do you have a unique style that you can lean into? Are you a story-driven or documentary style shooter? Do you have an aesthetic that you can really exploit and then lean into that and show couples that you can provide that for them? Find what makes you unique and really lean into it. When I found out how much money you could make filming weddings, I thought I struck gold. I thought this was going to be a piece of cake. Then reality hit me in the face after I filmed my first wedding and learned how difficult and exhausting it actually is. It is a ton of work and you have to stay ahead of the curve. Things go wrong all the time and you have to act accordingly, all while telling the couple's story. These moments only happen once in a lifetime for them, so going back to what I was saying earlier, if you're not familiar with shooting weddings, you should probably not be charging a whole lot because these moments only happen once in a lifetime for them, and nailing the shot is the only option. Doing the meetings and research up front, prepping your gear, shooting the actual wedding, then editing and giving the deliverables is a very exhausting but fulfilling job. After I shot my first wedding, I knew filming weddings was not going to be my only source of income due to the stress, time, and exhaustion that comes along with weddings. However, I still like filming a few weddings per year because I genuinely do enjoy them. They're extremely fulfilling, seeing people on one of the happiest days of their life. But for me, I just couldn't do this every single weekend. That's the beauty of the creative space. There are so many different shoots to do, from weddings, talking heads, brand videos, product videos, features and benefits videos. They all have their pros and cons. If you'd like me to make more content about making money with a camera, or if you want me to drill down into specific wedding topic videos, let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in this next video when clients want you to work for free. They have a great opportunity for you. You should watch that video.